Can you tell me about your transition from a physical therapist to a life coach? Would you say it was more of a gradual transition or a leap of faith? So my professional transition was definitely not slow and gradual. It wasn't even a leap of faith, actually. I wouldn't even use the leap of faith. It was very quick, and it was almost something that was it was compelled. Like it was very rapid, very quick shift, and it felt, sometimes it felt like I didn't really have a choice. And I don't want to mean it to kind of be like that I didn't have a choice of where I went. I did, but at the same time there was a pull in me that it was almost like my soul was going, nope, you're going this way now. Enough messing around. You've messed around enough in your life, and now you're going this way. Now I'm in charge. And I could feel that pull of my soul when I had my spiritual awakening. The shift was really abrupt. It was abrupt and it was very quick, but I wouldn't say that I was happy in my previous career. I was a physical therapist. I worked in pediatrics, and so I loved working with children. I loved my career, but it was interesting that I could feel already, probably 2, 3, 4 years before I transitioned, I already wasn't feeling like that was going to be my job for the rest of my life. I was starting to feel a pull to change, but I didn't know how. And so then the spiritual awakening came. It came through, my life just fell apart. And at the moment that my life fell apart, I just said to myself, what the hell am I doing? Like, what the hell am I doing? No, since my life has fallen apart, I'm just going to take this opportunity and I'm starting from scratch. I'm going to cut it all out. And so that's literally what I did. I remember I was living in the US. I was living in Washington, D.C. I walked out of my house with 2 suitcases. I threw some stuff in a storage unit that I never went back to get. I just gave it away to friends. And I left Washington, D.C. with 2 suitcases, and I never came back. And that's when I left the U.S. and I moved to Portugal. It was very, very rapid, a very, very, very strong shift. I knew that I was not going to go back to my career, to my old career, but that's not to say that it was an easy transition. I had pushback. I had very concerned family members kind of saying to me, what the hell are you doing? You just spent the last 10 years of your life going to school to get all these degrees to do what you do, and now suddenly what are you going to do? And so it wasn't easy. It wasn't an easy transition, but it was very abrupt, and it didn't feel like a leap of faith to me. It felt like my soul was compelling me to do this. It was such a strong pull. So that's how I transitioned. So I kind of quit my career, and I knew I wasn't going to go back to my career pretty quickly when my life fell apart, but I also didn't know what I was going to do next. So I didn't give up being a physical therapist. I didn't give up my clinical career to be a life coach. That's not how things went. I gave up my clinical career because my life fell apart, and I started to just say to myself, what am I doing? I'm not living a fulfilling, joyful life, so I'm going to change it, and I'm going to change it now. I have very fiery energy. I'm a Sagittarius with an ascendant in Sagittarius, so I'm all fire. And so when I do things. I do them all at once. Might as well. I don't like to trickle. I don't like things to trickle in my life. I'll usually make fast changes, big changes quickly. So that went really well with my energy, but I didn't know I wanted to be a life coach. I didn't know that this was what I was going to end up doing. It was literally just me feeling compelled to completely flip my life upside down during my spiritual awakening. And then what ended up happening is the life coaching sort of came to me slowly as I was going through my spiritual awakening, my initiation process. I went through a very difficult initiation process, which is common with people who have healing missions. The initiation process can be difficult. And so mine was very challenging, and I left my career behind, and then I slowly started to understand what I was meant to do next. But I don't, today I don't recommend, I'm not sharing this story to say, hey, just throw everything down the drain, quit your career and just forget about it. Just do the same thing I did. I don't even recommend doing what I did, because I've worked with a lot of clients over the years, and a lot of people feel this overwhelming overwhelming just anxiety and stress at the possibility of doing what I did, of just completely walking out of their house with 2 suitcases and just leaving their old life behind. That can be really frightening, and it's not necessary to do it that way. It doesn't have to be done that way. So if you feel like you want, this question, I assume that this question is coming from someone who is looking to change their careers, who is looking to change their life paths. You don't have to do it the way that I did. I did it in a very jarring way, and I don't recommend that for people. I really don't recommend that for people. I'll usually, what I'll tell people when they work with me is, make your transition slower. It doesn't have to be like mine. But if you feel compelled to do what I did, then hey, you're a sovereign being. But the recommendations that I generally give people now is to start feeling things out. What am I compelled to do? What are my interests? What are my passions? Because, what happened to me, I didn't just quit my career. I quit my career and then I lost everything. Like I went to like sub-zero in my bank account. I lost everything because I let go of my career before I had something else lined up. I didn't have anything lined up. And so I completely lost everything. All right. So that's one of the reasons why I don't recommend is that, if you have bills to pay or you have children or you have all of these obligations, then maybe you just can't just, quit and go off on your own. And so now what I generally recommend for people is that they start to slowly go into the things that they're passionate about. They slowly start to discover what their new path is, where they want to go, and they slowly start to make their way in that direction. So as an example, if you want to start a business, and you have a current job right now and that job is paying the bills, start to figure out what you want your business to be, what kind of ideas you have and all of that. Do that on the side. And then when you're ready to make the jump, then quit your old career. So that's generally what I recommend now. Go a little bit smoother, unless you have energy like mine and you just like to do things rapidly, then, no judgment there. But you can also do it more smoothly than I did. I did it a little bit abruptly, and it was because, it was just my life was falling apart really. At that moment, and that's what happened to me. But if you can do it more smoothly than I did, I recommend that, because it was painful. I laugh about it now, but it wasn't funny at the moment. Those were very difficult years for me, and I wouldn't take it back. They were difficult years, but if you can do it in a smoother way than I did, it'll probably spare you some suffering. But yeah, that was my transition from clinician to life coach, abruptly, very fast, almost like I was being compelled by my soul to do it now with a kind of a sense of urgency. It was like my soul said, "You're done. You're done with your old life, all of it. You're done with all of your old life, career, relationship, everything. Everything's done." So it was kind of a death moment for me at that moment. And so that's kind of that's what happened to me.